Let me take you back to when I was 32. I was married with one daughter. I completed my Ivy League education, worked in McMedicine. I was struggling with sleep, anxiety, and burnout. I went to my doctor. He told me to take Prozac for my PMS, birth control pills for what he assumed was a hormone issue, and to eat less and exercise more. His approach left me cold because he made me feel shame. He made me feel like it was all my fault. Advanced testing at the time showed that I was aging more than a decade faster than my chronological age. I felt like Shel Silverstein's giving tree, giving all of my shade, all of my leaves, all of myself to everyone around me. I turned to biohacking to optimize my health, but even those methods, mostly proven effective in men, weren't serving me either. Most of us are trying to optimize, it's in our nature, but we can't to-do list our way out of taking care of ourselves. We have to figure out how to take care of ourselves in a totally different way. And that's what this podcast, Treated with Dr. Sara, is all about. I want to take you by the hand, and together we will explore and test a whole new level of self-care and wellness so that you feel your best every day when you wake up in the morning. Dysregulation can take many forms, including anxiety, depression, disordered eating, irritability, angry outbursts, self-harm, substance use disorders, suicidal thoughts, and other self-damaging behaviors. If you're feeling dysregulated, please keep listening to our show because I've designed it to help you get out of survival mode and into solutions. Don't settle. Don't be dismissed. Don't let a doctor tell you that you're just getting older. Don't accept that 7 minutes with a doctor once a year is sufficient to create your best health. By being here, you're going to take your health into your own hands. Let me take you back to when I was 32. I was married with one daughter. I'd completed my Ivy League education, worked in McMedicine, seeing 30 patients a day. I hadn't yet learned about flat irons, so my hair was frizzy and askew, not unlike my experience of medicine as a doctor. I was working hard in mainstream medicine, which frankly is not healthcare, but disease care. I practiced as a primary care physician, and I would refer patients to the gastroenterologist if they had gut issues, the rheumatologist if they had autoimmune disease, the endocrinologist if they had blood sugar problems, and the cardiologist if their lipids just didn't look right. Everybody had their silo of what I think of as sick care, yet no one was happy, not the patients and not the doctors. No one was focused on prevention or lifestyle medicine. The healthcare system was broken and in need of a revolution. Personally, I was a hot mess. I was burning the candle at both ends. I was in couples therapy. I was overweight. I was suffering with premenstrual syndrome. I went to my doctor. He told me to take Prozac for my PMS, birth control pills for what he assumed was a hormone issue, and to eat less and exercise more. His approach left me cold because he made me feel shame. He made me feel like it was all my fault. I was saddled with a demanding career. I was taking care of my kid. Later, I had another daughter. I was taking care of the house. I was taking care of friends, family, and on and on. Advanced testing at the time showed that I was aging more than a decade faster than my chronological age. I felt like Shel Silverstein's giving tree, giving all of my shade, all of my leaves, all of myself to everyone around me. I had become an expert at optimizing what I had in order to give it to others, depleting my own self in the process. Maybe you do this too, until the physical and emotional cost catches up to you. The doctor's orders weren't cutting it. My overwhelm continued until I finally decided to apply my medical training to myself, to science myself. As I moved through the process of healing, what I discovered was that despite intense efforts to fix things like restrictive eating, CrossFit, cold plunges, I was struggling with sleep, anxiety, and burnout. I turned to biohacking to optimize my health, but even those methods, mostly proven effective in men, weren't serving me either. Most of us are trying to optimize, it's in our nature, but we can't to-do list our way out of taking care of ourselves. We have to figure out how to take care of ourselves in a totally different way. And that's what this podcast, Treated with Dr. Sara, is all about. I want to take you by the hand, and together we will explore and test a whole new level of self-care and wellness so that you feel your best every day when you wake up in the morning. I discovered that my cortisol levels were 3 times higher than normal, something that my traditional doctors told me wasn't a big deal. Yet high cortisol, just like a bad boyfriend, was leading to other downstream health consequences, like blood sugar spikes, inflammation, weight gain, moodiness, wear and tear on my joints, multiple injuries, belly fat. It was contributing so much to what I was feeling. And it was then that I realized I was in a chronic state of dysregulation, physiological dysregulation. And I spent the next months to years learning how to regulate myself. There's several keystone habits that stood out from the rest to help me create regulation. And I'll be sharing those with you in our show. Along the way, I discovered that my dysregulation wasn't my fault. And it's not your fault either. You're not doing anything wrong. We just need the evidence-based advice to see if it actually works for us in order to get regulated again. We just need the evidence-based advice and to see if it works for us in order to get regulated again. On my healing journey, I learned that it's really hard to know what's wrong when we don't feel right. And I also learned that it's hard to get started on the work of healing. Maybe you're here today because you're looking for solutions beyond what conventional siloed medicine provides. Maybe you're here today because you're looking for solutions that allow you to reclaim sovereignty and control. Or maybe you just want to get your hormones back on track. I'm so glad that you found your way here because this show is designed to help you. Don't settle. Don't be dismissed. Don't let a doctor tell you that you're just getting older. Don't accept that 7 minutes with a doctor once a year is sufficient to create your best health. By being here, you're going to take your health into your own hands. You're going to reclaim what is rightfully yours. It's your turn to shine physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. A moment of clarity followed by action. And in this podcast, I'm going to give you the tools and science to help you get your health to the next level. Hi, I'm Dr. Sara Szal. Welcome to the Treated with Dr. Sara podcast, where we focus on the specific steps to heal your mind, body, and soul. We're going to talk about the common things that you're experiencing and the psychological issues that you might be facing. We're going to help you with your blood sugar. We're going to calm down the nervous system. We're going to cover longevity protocols, hormone protocols, all the protocols. You can ask your questions at speakpipe.com/treated. You can leave us a voicemail with your question. My job is to be your ally and to support you in becoming your most effective health advocate. So that was my story in my 30s. And now I want to take you forward to how I've evolved, what I figured out, and who I am today. I began my career in primary care. I prescribed a lot of pharmaceuticals by day in the office, including Prozac and birth control pills and statins. And I took a lot of call at night, taking care of patients in the emergency room and the hospital. And it was during this time that I saw firsthand that being a woman is a health hazard. Women are at double the risk of depression, insomnia, Alzheimer's disease, post-traumatic stress disorder. We have fourfold the risk of autoimmune disease. We have 9x the risk of thyroid disease. And our risk profile is on trend. We hear about it everywhere. In the latest McKinsey report, which highlights the top 5 health trends, women's health ranks number 1. And still, women's health continues to decline. We constitute 51% of the population, yet our health outcomes have not improved. In my 30 years of practicing medicine, I've worked in academic centers like Harvard and the University of California at San Francisco. I've worked in private practice. What has been a constant is that I see what is working and what is not working in healthcare. The problem is our current healthcare system is a disease care system that is centered around you being sick. It's centered around pharmaceuticals. We need to center healthcare around your health. We need to understand what makes you healthy, what makes you feel most alive, because it's different than what makes others feel healthy or feel most alive. We need to make medicine more personalized, preventive, participatory, and predictive. We need Medicine 3.0. What is that? It is relationship-based care. It's participatory, where people own their own health data. They do N-of-1 experiments where they serve as their own control. It's evidence and technology powered. It's preventive with lifestyle medicine at the core. It's health span centered. What is health span? It's the period of time that you feel fantastic and you're relatively free of chronic disease. And it features empowerment of the client, that's you, as the expert, and healthcare professionals as partners. For the past 5 years, I've been working at Thomas Jefferson University, where I'm the director of precision medicine at the Marcus Institute of Integrative Health. I'm on the faculty in the Department of Integrative Medicine and Nutritional Sciences. I take care of patients in our executive health program. I've provided precision and functional medicine to professional athletes like the Philadelphia 76ers. My research has been in the areas of metabolic health and the use of wearables like continuous glucose monitors. I also teach on the faculty at the Integrative Psychiatry Institute. I'm a certified yoga teacher. I'm also training in Hakomi somatic-based mindfulness therapy, and I'm certified in psychedelic medicine with ketamine, psilocybin, and MDMA. Here's what I've figured out over my career, which you will be hearing about more in our podcast. Number 1, no one will know your body better than you. You only see a doctor once every 6 to 12 months. On average, that appointment is about 7 to 15 minutes. The other 99.9% of the time, you're on your own. And I want you to feel empowered to be the leading expert on your health. I've worked with tens of thousands of patients, and I've tested many solutions for creating health and longevity. Each week, I will bring to you my decades of clinical experience as a precision medicine physician to help you find the small steps that can aggregate to create transformative health. Number 3, I practice medicine, but I don't treat problems. I don't even treat symptoms. I specialize in root cause analysis because I know, and the evidence shows, that the greatest health transformations occur when you address the upstream root cause, not simply the downstream symptoms. So finally, I want to end with what I want to share with you in Treated. Each week, I'm going to bring to you what I'm seeing in my medical practice, what I'm learning and discovering, and most importantly, what works. In other words, what are the tools and protocols that seem to be really working for people right now, especially those who suffer with toxic stress, hormone imbalances, gut problems, inflammation, and dysregulation. What is dysregulation? Dysregulation refers to an impaired ability to regulate or control a specific process, such as emotions, behaviors, or physiological functions. It can include emotional dysregulation with difficulty managing one's emotions. It can also refer to autonomic dysregulation. It can also refer to autonomic dysregulation or issues with the nervous system's ability to manage bodily functions. Dysregulation is commonly associated with mental and physical health conditions, including mood and metabolic disorders, like blood sugar problems. Dysregulation can take many forms, including anxiety, depression, disordered eating, irritability, angry outbursts, self-harm, substance use disorders, suicidal thoughts, and other self-damaging behaviors. If you're feeling dysregulated, please keep listening to our show because I've designed it to help you get out of survival mode and into solutions. If you're in survival mode or you're just learning how to shift out of survival mode, all of this can feel overwhelming. I get it, and it is. I'm going to be talking about dysregulation and the tiny things that can help you feel more nervous system regulation, and specifically what we can do. I'll bring you the science and evidence behind what works for toxic stress and other root causes of the dysregulation that we feel so commonly these days. Sometimes I joke that we live in the United States of dysregulation. That's what it feels like to me. I'm going to bring you experts like holistic psychologist Nicole LaPera and functional medicine expert Dr. Mark Hyman to share what they believe works to create health and healing. I'll share what works for my patients and for me. Each episode, I'm going to be offering you the tools to make your health better, to bring more balance and harmony to your body. We will be talking about things that we can do to stop the cycle of dysregulation and shift toward robust health. We all desperately need regulation and recovery, but the way that we currently think of them doesn't seem to be working. We need to redefine a way to regulate that works for us. And one's protocol, your protocol, might be different based on your age, your hormones, your stage of life. If you want to begin building a regulation and recovery plan that works for you, we're going to start with measuring your current physiological state. So you can start with a wearable and measure your heart rate variability, the time between each of your heartbeats. We'll talk in this podcast about ways to measure your resilience and how to grow it as you get older. We're going to work together to understand what regulates you the most effectively. We need to infuse our lives with regulation. We have to regulate ourselves first, bottom up, and from that place, regulate others. What is bottom-up regulation? It refers to the process of creating balance and regulation in the nervous system first by addressing the senses. It includes breath work or deep breathing to calm the nervous system. And what seems to work best is the rule of fives. Here's a quick science moment. A 5.5 second inhale, a 5.5 second exhale, performed 5.5 times per minute. It includes movement like exercise, yoga, dancing, or other rhythmic activities. It includes healthy sensory input like weighted blankets, deliberate cold exposure, or grounding techniques. Bottom-up regulation contrasts with top-down regulation, where cognitive strategies are used to manage emotions and behaviors. Most of us need a combination of bottom-up and top-down regulation. In my medical practice, we run N-of-1 experiments to see what regulates an individual, like taking early morning sunlight with UVA waves, more magnesium, microdosing on mushrooms, and adding more strength training. These are the most regulating activities that I do personally every day. My hope is that what you learn in this podcast is how to run N-of-1 experiments yourself. You're probably doing them already. You just may not call them that. The idea is that by listening to the podcast, learning about protocols and tools that are proven to be effective, or in some cases more experimental, you can then experiment yourself and see what works the best for you. As we bring this solo episode to a close, I am so excited that you are here. I want my new podcast, Treated, to help you take your health into your own hands. I hope that you share this podcast with the people that you love so that we can all become healthier together. If you have questions, don't forget to head to speakpipe.com/treated and leave a voicemail. New episodes and content will address the questions that you bring. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Be especially kind to yourself. And remember, your body is a marvel of adaptability and resilience.